Hello everybody, it is me again on my own personal road to WrestleMania 40. Today the tagline is the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, obviously meaning we are on WrestleMania 25. WrestleMania 25 happened April 5th, 2009 in Houston, Texas at the Reliant Stadium. This would be the third consecutive WrestleMania to break the record in highest grossing pay-per-views in WWE history. This one brought in $6.9 million in ticket sales. Like, that is crazy, mind-blowing. Attendance at this WrestleMania was 74,744. So I usually don't talk about the pre-show, but it will come up a little bit later. So let's just touch on that before we get into the card. On the pre-show, we had a lumberjack match to unify the tag belts, the WWE and the World Tag Team Championships. We were going to unify them, and we had that match on the pre-show, and there is a reason for that, and that was Carlito and Primo, and they defeated John Morrison and The Miz. They are now unified tag champs. Like I said, we will get into that. So here we go, WrestleMania 25. Here is my rundown in my review. First match on the card is the Money in the Bank ladder match. So the last ever Money in the Bank ladder match in a WrestleMania will actually be next year, WrestleMania 26. But like I said in my last video, I absolutely love Money in the Bank ladder matches on the WrestleMania card. So in this Money in the Bank ladder match, the fifth installment of that on the WrestleMania cards, we would be getting Christian, love to see it, CM Punk, Finley with Hornswoggle, my man Shelton Benjamin, Mark Henry, MVP, Kane, and one of my favorites, I was so happy to see him, his first ever WrestleMania, and that is Kofi Kingston. This match lasts about 14 and a half minutes, and it was, I wouldn't say it was one of my favorites, but I had a really good time watching this one. It had a lot of really cool spots. We also had a bit of a rivalry between Shelton Benjamin and MVP right before WrestleMania 25. Shelton Benjamin was on a run with the US Championship. He had held it for 8 months before WrestleMania 25, but right before this WrestleMania, MVP wins it from him. There's a few cool spots between the two men in this match. There was ladder laying across onto the rope of the ring, and of course Shelton Benjamin is up there. Him standing on that ladder while it's being held up by another ladder and a rope, it scared the bejesus out of me. But of course Shelton Benjamin is such a dream in these ladder matches, and he jumps from that onto MVP. I loved their back and forth. There was so much storytelling between the two men. Shelton Benjamin, I will say it again, deserves better. Hornswoggle was out there with Finley, and at one point he brings out a smaller ladder, climbs up there, then climbs up on top of Mark Henry and jumps from him into a crowd of men outside of the ring and knocks them all down. I feel like they could have caught him, but I digress. And of course, Kofi Kingston just showing off all of his moves. I love Kofi Kingston so much. This is back when he had that Jamaican accent. He was born in Ghana. Later on in 2009 is when we would get the dropping of Kofi Kingston's accent. Like live on a Raw, he was talking Triple H and DX and just starts talking without an accent. And they're like, sir, where did it go? That's like one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Carrying on, Kofi Kingston uses that ladder. One point where he like Spider-Man's underneath the ladder and then grabs the ladder behind him and throws it down on Finley. It just looks so cool all put together. Kofi Kingston is just mind-blowing. I love that man. He also got a spot where Mark Henry was bringing up a ladder to go get the briefcase. He doesn't even open it. He just has it straight up, and Kofi Kingston jumps on it out of nowhere, starts climbing up the ladder, but of course Mark Henry just drops it. Kofi Kingston goes flying. But let's get to the winner of this match. CM Punk doesn't really, like last year, he won WrestleMania 24 Money in the Bank ladder match. Didn't really notice him too much in that match. CM Punk at WrestleMania 24 won the Money in the Bank because Chris Jericho was up there with him, but Chris Jericho fell backwards. His legs got tangled up in the ladder. Well, at one point at WrestleMania 25, Money in the Bank, the same thing happens, but it's CM Punk that falls down. He's caught up with his legs in the ladder. Commentary is saying like, oh my God, just like what happened with last year. And you think Christian's gonna win, but nay, my man, he does not. Who wins Money in the Bank? WrestleMania 25. Well, that is CM Punk yet again. Second consecutive WrestleMania. I mean, I could have done without this personally. Like, the crowd was really behind Christian at this WrestleMania. I love Christian so much. Seeing CM Punk win second year in a row wasn't all that exciting for me, but here we are. CM Punk wins. Rah, rah. Like I said, WrestleMania 26. My next video will be the last Money in the Bank on the WrestleMania card. So now we're going to go back to the pre-show, and I'm going to let you guys know why it was on the pre-show and why they did end up taking this off the actual WrestleMania card, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Well, wasn't for a match. Nay, it was for a concert from the one and only Kid Rock. So use that information as you will. Kid Rock was big back in 2009, you know? Bong should have bang a bang or whatever. So that happened. The next match on the card is a Miss WrestleMania match. Oh boy. So it is 7 minutes, 7.5, minutes long. We had Mae Young out there as special guest timekeeper. It was a battle royale for the Miss WrestleMania title. It's a battle royale. There are women in it since it's the only women's match. But who wins this match? And this is why I'm not going to get into it. Well, it is Santino Marella. I love Santino Marella. Love him. He's so funny to me. He's one of the funniest, besides R-Truth, wrestling characters that never felt cringy. Like they just knew comedy and they did it so well. Only WrestleMania women's match on the card. And we have a man winning it. Santina. So at the end of this women's match, Santino Marella tells us that Santina is Santino's twin sister from Italy, and Santina at the very end eliminates Beth Phoenix, which, Beth Phoenix definitely would have been the better winner, but here we are. Next match is sort of a spectacle of a match, and that is a handicap elimination match. On one side, we have Chris Jericho all by his lonesome, up against some Hall of Famers from back in the day. So we have Jimmy Snuka, Ricky Steamboat, and one of my personal faves, that is Roddy Piper. Pretty much the reasoning for this match, in 2008, a movie came out called The Wrestlers starring Mickie Rourke. And there was a point where Mickie Rourke was at a SAG event and he was on the red carpet and he just impromptu calls out Chris Jericho saying he's going to whoop his ass. And Chris Jericho sees a clip of this and he's like, wait, what the hell? Vince McMahon, he wants to kind of capitalize off the success of this movie, The Wrestler, which is a magnificent movie. It's about Mickie Rourke and he is a 80s wrestler and continues to wrestle in present time, trying to recapture his fame and success. So because Mickie Rourke did call out Chris Jericho, Vince McMahon wants to capitalize off this. He sets up a match between Chris Jericho and Mickie Rourke at WrestleMania 25. But he doesn't want to announce this, he wants it to be a surprise. But Mickie Rourke, he has some issues. And he kind of, lets it loose. Chris Jericho and Mickie Rourke also have this kind of infamous back and forth on CNN. It went crazy. Anyways, Mickie Rourke was up for, and the movie The Wrestler, up for a bunch of Oscars. Mickie Rourke's publicist and people behind the scenes in the movie industry were like, you cannot be seen in a ring with the WWE, because the WWE within Hollywood is kind of looked down upon, frowned upon. Absolutely not. They're not going to give you Best Actor at the Oscars right after you're in a ring with Chris Jericho. You know what I mean? Vince McMahon, he has a plan B, puts Chris Jericho up against these legends of the past, these Hall of Famers. All these Hall of Famers, they're in their 60s. 50s maybe at this point. Turn it into a storyline hey, Mickie Rourke, this is your fault. You made these has-beens, Chris Jericho says, think that they're still worth something in the wrestling ring. So I'm going to show you and show these Hall of Famers that time has moved on. I am the man now. I'm Chris Jericho. So we will have a handicap match. Ric Flair, he is back in the WWE. As we know from last WrestleMania, he was forced to retire. He's not in the ring, but he comes out with the other Hall of Famers. But Chris Jericho up against these older gentlemen. It wasn't as bad as maybe I thought it would be. It wasn't great either. It only lasted 8.5 minutes, which I was completely okay with. We did not need to drag this out. And to win this match, Chris Jericho did pin Ricky Steamboat. After this match, Mickie Rourke is in the audience and Jericho starts calling him out. Mickie Rourke gets in the ring and they kind of have like a little bit of a boxing match. I think out of the whole WrestleMania match, this was the most awkward to me. I don't know, like them, I'm kind of glad that this match between Mickie Rourke and Chris Jericho didn't happen because like Mickie Rourke lets Chris Jericho in the back of the head. He gets laid out. Flair holds up Mickie Rourke's hand. La-di-da. Chris Jericho still did win the match. I don't really know how, Mickie Rourke's publicist and everything felt about this, but he did go on to win the Oscar for the wrestler and best actor, which he totally deserved anyway. So now the next match on the card is a doozy, and everything leading up to it is a little nuts. If you are like me and you are a Hardy Boyz fan, one of the best tag teams, there is a general favorite in the Hardy Boyz, and that would be Jeff Hardy. And we all know Jeff Hardy has had his issues, but there was something very charismatic enigma about Jeff Hardy. He just, there was something about the guy. Matt Hardy, also phenomenal. General consensus, people do lean a little bit towards Jeff. Wasn't exactly a hidden secret by any stretch of the imagination. Going into WrestleMania 25, we are getting a Matt Hardy turn on his brother, Jeff Hardy. So let's rewind back to December 14th, 2008. We had a pay-per-view called Armageddon. That pay-per-view, we had a triple threat with Edge, Triple H, and Jeff Hardy for the heavyweight championship. And Jeff Hardy wins. He wins his first WWE big belt, the heavyweight championship. I guess this fuels a little bit of, the fire within Matt Hardy and his jealousy towards his brother. Now, this rivalry, there's a lot of things that happen leading up to WrestleMania 25, and have a match between Edge and the heavyweight champion, Jeff Hardy. So back at Armageddon, Edge was the heavyweight champion. Jeff Hardy won that from him. Now at the Royal Rumble 2009, we have Edge, the previous champion, up against the current champion, the rematch. Before this match at the Royal Rumble, well, it is Vickie Guerrero. Vickie Guerrero states that this will be a no disqualification match. Well, Matt Hardy, this is when he turns on his brother, Jeff Hardy. You think that Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, they place a chair under Edge while he's down on the mat, and you think that they're going to hit Edge with the chair, but nay. Matt Hardy hits his brother with the chair. Edge ends up winning. He wins his heavyweight championship back. There's just so much emotion in this rivalry. WrestleMania 25 bring up old photos of Matt and Jeff when they're kids. They're talking about how they lost their mom when they were little and they only have their dad. Their dad was a single parent that raised them, and he was calling Jeff and Matt before their match at WrestleMania saying, hey guys, don't do this. They only have each other. But apparently Hardy wouldn't even take his father's phone calls. Like, it was just a hot boo-boo mess. A little bit of family drama. Not only that, leading up to WrestleMania 25, we at WrestleMania 24, who was supposed to win that Money in the Bank ladder match? Well, that was Jeff Hardy. But he had his wellness policy issues. But he also had a house fire. That house fire, he lost his dog, Jack, in the house fire. Well, Matt Hardy takes blame for that, insinuates that he started that fire. Oh my. Y'all, that is dirty, dirty business right there. This match between Matt and Jeff Hardy lasts about 13 minutes. Spectacular. It is everything you would think a match between these two men should be. It was an Extreme Rules match, and These men are kind of known for, we had tables, ladders, and chairs all over the place. There was one point where Jeff sets up 2 ladders, goes for a leapfrog leg drop from the top of the ladders and splashes down on Matt, but Matt does end up moving. After the failed leg drop from the top of the ladders, Matt Hardy gets Jeff's head in between a folding chair and does a twist of fate while his head is in the chair. Oh my God, it is crazy looking. 1, 2, 3. Matt wins on commentary. They're saying Matt Hardy ruins another moment for his brother. It's insanity, this match. I absolutely loved every second of it, but watching stuff like this, you really realize, you know, these men have put their body through a lot. Now, this next match only lasts 21 seconds, but there is a lot that goes into this. So it is for the Intercontinental Championship. JBL is going in as champion, and JBL is going up against Rey Mysterio. JBL's entrance, he is really giving the crowd a verbal beating. This WrestleMania is in Texas. He's saying, you know, you guys need a hero. You're out here doing your Pilates, drinking your Starbucks. I can't wait till this match is over so I can go back to New York. It's just, you know, given the heel business. So it goes on to say, like, this is going to be a historic beatdown. It's just going to get in there, beat Rey Mysterio in like no time. Well, that's just not the case. First, this match starts out and JBL is really dominating, but this is before the bell even rings. So once the bell rings, Rey Mysterio takes over. He gives JBL a kick to the head, a 619 into a frog splash, and ding, 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 it is over. He is the new Intercontinental Champion. This is the first time since WrestleMania 18 that the IC belt has been defended at a WrestleMania, so that's pretty crazy. And then seeing Rey Mysterio win it so quickly. But after this match, JBL, I've never been a huge fan of JBL. I just, you know, the whole Blue Meanie thing, I never got over it, even though Blue Meanie did. JBL says, I have something to say, and it takes him a little while to get it out, but then he yells, I quit! And this will be JBL's last match in the WWE, and it, you know what? Everybody's booing him, and then they cheer when he says he quits, but you could see in his face, like, it comes out later that he had really bad back pain and a back injury. And you know, it's always sad when you see somebody not have to give up on their dream, because JBL, we've been doing all these WrestleManias, he's been around for a while, have to retire at any age when you still love the business. It's actually really painful to watch his face. This would be JBL's last match. Rey Mysterio's the new IC champ. It wasn't a long match, so you couldn't really sink your teeth into it, but there was a lot of emotion. Rey Mysterio winning. It's always cool to see Rey Mysterio do the 619. I love it. I'm a mark for that move. This next match I'm going to touch on, and I'm not going to get too much into it because it's just something, if you have not seen this WrestleMania or you have not seen this match, you absolutely need to. Let's rewind all the way back to the early 2000s, between 2000 and 2002. This is when Shawn Michaels had his firstborn child, his son. Now, we know Shawn Michaels' history with addiction and, you know, just his hard party lifestyle. Back in 1999, he did marry his wife, Rebecca, and then they had their first child. And Shawn Michaels at this time, for his firstborn child, for his son, really wanted to get his life together. He's like, I cannot be a bad influence on my son. And his wife, Rebecca, is Christian. Started bringing him to church, and he started to go to therapy and get it together. He became a born-again Christian in 2002. And you know what? All power to him, turning that around and just really reflecting who you are as a person and looking at all the bad parts to work on them. It's not an easy feat, and congratulations to him. We've all heard the terrible stories. It's no secret to anybody. At the beginning of the 2000s, he started to go to church, stopped with the drugging and the boozing. Love that. Going into WrestleMania 25 in 2009, this has been used in storylines before, you know, Shawn Michaels, the born-again Christian, Vince McMahon fighting God, you know, all that good stuff. So going into WrestleMania 25, you get the darkness versus the light, and this visual, just the beginning of this match, Shawn Michaels comes down, dressed in all white, light, and then when the Undertaker comes out, the black cloak, the black hat, just the, Undertaker goth aesthetic. Visually, it is stunning. So before WrestleMania happens, we actually get Shawn Michaels in that same outfit, doing the tipping of the hat as the Undertaker does, but in all white. Visually, this is a pleasing. I love it. So like I said, this match between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker is 30 minutes long. It's The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. We already know what happens. It does go 17-0. Mr. WrestleMania up against The Undertaker's streak. It just goes so hard. This match actually won 2009 Match of the Year award from both Pro Wrestling Illustrated and the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So well deserved. I absolutely loved this match. It just delivered on every aspect of storytelling and match quality. Stellar match. Again, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. The Darkness versus the Born Again Christian, and how these two men work so well together, even though they live completely different lifestyles. A match on the card for me. It won Match of the Year for a reason. This one blew everything else in this WrestleMania out of the effing water. I want to put in there, at the end of this match, Shawn Michaels does give The Undertaker sweet chin music, and you really think it's over. Like, the crowd kind of split in this match. They're cheering for Shawn Michaels, they're cheering for The Undertaker. He gives The Undertaker sweet chin music. 1, 2, and Undertaker kicks out last minute. The Undertaker gives Shawn Michaels a tombstone. He puts his arms over Shawn Michaels, does the little eye roll thing. But Shawn Michaels kicks out at 2. Like, there's just so much emotion in this match. Also, during this match, The Undertaker has gone on to say, like, one of his favorite matches. But there was a part in this match where Undertaker was doing a dive outside of the ring. Shawn Michaels pulled the cameraman over. The cameraman was supposed to catch The Undertaker. The cameraman that was supposed to catch The Undertaker was Snuka. And he botched it. People say it's because Shawn Michaels pulled him over a little bit too far. Snuka, Jimmy Snuka's son, was let go 3 months after WrestleMania 25. We never saw him again. But I don't want to harp on the negatives in this match because it's a good one. These are the days of our lives. Next match. Okay. This will be a triple threat match between The Big Show, Edge, and John Cena. So back at the No Way Out pay-per-view a month previously to WrestleMania 25, we had John Cena as the heavyweight champion, but at that pay-per-view, Edge won the belt from him. So fast forward a little bit, we are getting Edge versus The Big Show at WrestleMania 25. But John Cena wanted a piece of that action. And they were about to have a signing for the match at WrestleMania between The Big Show and Edge. And John Cena came out and whispered something into Vicky Guerrero's ear, saying, hey, you're going to cancel this signing now. So then fast forward to the next Raw. Vicky Guerrero comes out and adds John Cena to the match at WrestleMania. And Edge is like, what the hell are you doing, Vicky? Because at this time in 2008, us may remember, Vicky Guerrero and Edge were actually married. So they are an on-screen couple. Vicky Guerrero is the general manager of SmackDown. Moving back to John Cena being added to the WrestleMania match. Edge is not happy with his wife. Like, why are you adding another person? He signs the paper. He's added to the match. He's extorting Vicky Guerrero. As soon as he signs the paper, he's like, I don't need to hold this in anymore. Shows on screen that Vicky Guerrero has been having an affair with The Big Show. These are the days of our lives. And everything following this, between finding out about the affair and WrestleMania, like, yeah, Edge is mad at The Big Show, but they really take it out on John Cena more. He's the one that let this information loose. Like, he's not the one banging your wife, though. So you're putting your energy into the wrong person, sir. 3 men come down to the ring, but John Cena comes down, but there's like 100 John Cena. But just a personal bias here, and I've said this before, I am not a huge fan of triple threats. Though this isn't the main event, it is for the World Heavyweight Championship, which is the Raw brand. The last match, the one after this, is for the WWE Championship. Undertaker match to this one. It's a triple threat, and not only that, the Big Show, he seems like such a nice fella, but anytime he is in the ring, I do not get too excited. Really cool though to see John Cena put the Big Show on his back. Ooh, it's a sight to see. But overall, this match lasts about 14 minutes for the World Heavyweight Championship. I did not particularly love this match for those two reasons. Also, Vicky Guerrero is out there. So is Chavo, and they get involved, so it gets a little sticky. Definitely not my favorite on the card. John Cena is so powerful, and then Edge does some crazy spots, so that was super exciting. At the very end, John Cena gives Edge an attitude adjustment right on the Big Show, which John Cena wins his belt back. So Edge held it for a month. I loved the storyline. The match could have been better for me, but the storyline, trash. I love trash. So the last match on the card is for the WWE Championship, and it is the main event. And of course, it's 2009. Who's going to be in the main event? Of course, it's Triple H. The WWE champion, up against Randy Orton. Triple H were to get disqualified or counted out during this match, not like the basic rules, he would have lost his title. But before we go full force into the last match, before this match starts, my favorite wrestlers of all time comes out because he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame the night previously. Class of 2009, we had Stone Cold Steve Austin. To take a pause, put my hair up because this one is a doozy. So we have Triple H, the current WWE champion, up against Randy Orton. So if we remember back to 2004, that is when Randy Orton, Batista, Triple H, they're all in the faction called Evolution. We love Evolution. And that is also the year at SummerSlam when Randy Orton became the youngest WWE champion at 24 years old. And Randy Orton had his rematch against Chris Benoit. Batista picked up Randy Orton, put him on his shoulders. They're all cheering him, and Triple H gives the thumbs down, turns on Randy Orton. It's now 2009, and Randy Orton has not moved past this. Randy Orton really looked up to Triple H as a mentor. Ruined my life, now I'm gonna ruin yours. Randy Orton wins the Royal Rumble in 2009, so he is going on to WrestleMania 25 to take on Triple H. But in Randy Orton's words, that is not enough. He is coming for Triple H's family. And at this time, as we know in real life, Triple H is married to the billion-dollar princess that is Stephanie McMahon. Randy Orton goes after Stephanie's dad, that is Vince McMahon. He's him out. He gets taken out, neck brace. He gives Stephanie McMahon an RKO. So in retaliation, Triple H shows up at Randy Orton's home with a sledgehammer. He attacks Randy Orton in his own home. Randy Orton isn't taking that though. On an episode of Raw, Randy Orton handcuffs Triple H to ropes of the ring, puts a sledgehammer to his head like he's gonna hit him in the head. Stephanie McMahon comes running down to the ring. Randy Orton, within almost reach of Triple H, gives Stephanie McMahon a DDT off the ropes, and Triple H can't help. He is handcuffed to the ring. These men really hate each other. Randy Orton was saying he was trying to lure Triple H into attacking him, so Triple H felt like he had control of the situation, because when people feel like they have control, they let their guard down. So that's exactly what he wanted going in to WrestleMania 25. Now, while the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels match was my favorite, this Triple H versus Randy Orton storyline was my favorite. There was just so much emotion in how they pulled stuff from Evolution all the way back in 2004. Like, Randy Orton does not forget how they brought Triple H's family into it. I believe that that's Randy Orton's real home while I'm watching it. No, not at all. People have their opinions on going into homes of wrestlers and using it as storyline. It's a show, y'all. Relax. It's written that way. I hate to take you out of the the moment of wrestling, but I absolutely love it. It puts an extra layer of emotion and hate. I digress. So Triple H is going into this match at WrestleMania with Randy Orton as the WWE Champion. This match lasts about 24.5 minutes. And as much as I talk ish about Triple H always being in main events of these, it seems he always sneaks his way in there being, you know, a McMahon. Looks a little favoritism. Can't take it away from him. He always delivers. These storylines, the matches, they always hit for me. The one thing that I did not love about this match is we had a referee bump. I mean, it makes sense to the storyline, I suppose, because, you know, these two men hate each other and we don't really want a clear winner. Like I said, if Triple H were to get disqualified, he would lose his title, but he did get his sledgehammer at one point from Randy Orton because Randy Orton brought it into the ring while the ref was knocked out. Triple H hit Randy Orton with it and gave him a pedigree to retain his WWE Championship. This match is definitely something you should watch. It is second favorite match on this card after the Undertaker match, but it's, you know, there's so much tension between these two men. A little sidebar here, the fact that Randy Orton is still going and he looks better than ever in 2024. He's a freak of nature in the best way possible. This WrestleMania is a hard one for me to give a grade to because of the simple fact is I absolutely kind of hated it for a while until the Undertaker match and then the Triple H match and the emotion of JBL quitting. And I think the first time that ever happened at a WrestleMania. And the rivalry between the Hardy brothers, there was also a lot of, you know, emotion there as well. And I did love the Money in the Bank ladder match. I think it was what really grinded my gears about this WrestleMania. Again, with the Miss WrestleMania match being won by Santina Marella. And the Chris Jericho match against the Legends was, you know, okay, whatever. And Rourke got in the ring. I could have done without seeing that in my entire life. Overall, you know what? Once I got into the groove of this WrestleMania and I forgot about the women's match, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I don't know why I went into this looking at the card, not being too excited. I don't know why. But I'm going to give this WrestleMania a 7 out of 10. You let me know what you thought of WrestleMania 25. And also, side note, WrestleMania 25 was the last WrestleMania to feature the ECW brand. The brand was disbanded in February 2010, so right before WrestleMania 26. I am a huge ECW fan, but thank God. Let's just move on from the ECW WWE stuff. Again, let me know what you thought of WrestleMania 25 below, and I will see you next week for WrestleMania 26. Let's go!